What's up everyone, welcome back to a new video on the Alien Algo channel. Today we will be going over the markets again, like usual. So without more having said, let's get straight into it. We'll start of course with the general markets, meaning the S&P, the NDQ and the Dow Jones, the DJI. So let's get straight into them. Of course the thing I pointed out, we had this zone getting created, acting as a major resistance. And the thing we wanted to see is it getting held. So we push above it, we retest it, and we hold it multiple hours in a row. Here you can see from the date, we have been trading above it for already 4 days. Created, in the meantime, this major resistance on the weekly, which we also seem to be flipping. So I do have to be on the positive side, and I do think we still make a new all-time high for the S&P over the coming months. So when we look at it on a 1 hour, this is kind of the path that I expected if we manage to hold. And it does seem like it's playing out to perfection. And when we look at the 5 minutes, of course today we had CPI news, which came in around here. As you can see, we've gotten that explosive move from it. Also having some positive trade deals between US and China. So this does look really good for the general markets. Of course, the general markets usually push crypto with them. So when these go up, most of the time crypto goes up in general. So let's take a look at the NDQ. This has not opened yet. This still looks really good, right? So I see I have not tapped in this resistance right here, with this being your current level to flip. But I don't think most of you trade the NDQ, so I will keep it like this. I do think this is an interesting point as well. We had this wick to the downside, which if we pull it back a little bit to the left, acted as a proper level, giving that retest. When it broke hard. So I will keep this on the chart as well. So this currently is that key level to flip for the NDQ. So let's put it back there. The Dow Jones, this quite simply is the level to flip. So what do we want to see again? Get above it, get back into this level, and then remove this bit of price action. So we move to the upside. For the DXY, we simply still seem to be grinding down. I do think we are still at this level where we could expect a little bit of a move towards the upside before we get that major leg towards the downside, which I would assume to be the top of the total markets, where we top somewhere end of Q4 or start of Q1, with my expectations being Q4. So now that we have had the general markets, let's get into BTC. If we simply look at it right here, of course we had this major move, but this is all past data, so that doesn't really matter that much anymore. So when we are looking at the 4 hour, we still see this acting as that crucial resistance, which I would like to see being flipped. But there are a couple things I do want to look out for. As you can see, I've already drawn them on the chart, so this time I came prepared. And here we have a couple single prints, here we have some more single prints, and here we have a naked POC. Meaning within a volume profile, if I just simply draw it right here, a volume profile of course can be used per day or per certain time frame. And when we look at it on a daily basis, this was your profile. If I can get it right. Wait 1 second. I want it to be from the 9th. I can simply use an indicator for this, but I want you guys to know how to draw this properly. Right here, and then it goes to the 2nd, because that's for me when the daily close happens. When we point it out like this, I see I'm using the wrong chart, so let's get into BTC right here. Here we have a little bit of volume matrices. So it's this candle to the daily open, which of course also is 2 o'clock. And then we can see we have a point of control laying right here from the previous day. And usually in an efficient market, you see this being retested and then we go up again. So if we manage to break below this, there is a high likely chance of us going to that naked POC, which of course I've drawn on the chart right here. So the second thing are the single prints, meaning a little inefficiency in the lower time frames, which currently are sitting right below this point. So right around here, I've drawn them here, and the same goes for this little point, also being a single print. So there is a chance of us retracing to here before we go up. And then of course you want to see what the flows are doing around here, because if this happens, you simply just wait for lower. And of course, this being the most extreme case, which of course is still possible knowing this is crypto. So we just simply have to watch these levels and watch what the flows do around these levels to get the entries. So with that being said, let's look at the top side. It's quite clearly is that key resistance, which we would like to see break. When we identify this point as a range, this currently is your 0.5 level, which we seem to be holding. So if we get a daily close above this, I am kind of ruling out this lower levels, but if we close below this, it would be kind of logical to retrace back to those range lows before continuation up. So for the daily close, I would like to see it stay above this level. So on the 4 hour, it simply would be the same. So we would like to see in a bull case us trading above here to expect some continuation. Or if we don't, we simply are looking at the single prints, the daily naked POC, and this single print. So that being said for BTC, let's get straight into ETH. On ETH, you guys know, I've been preaching this for multiple weeks now. I am more bullish on ETH than I am on BTC. As of now, I will most likely flip this case in a bit, but for now, I am still more bullish on ETH than on BTC. So we simply see we have had this range deviation, just like we had here. We held it in the end, and we reclaimed at 0 to 5 level, and we just straight flew up. I expected it to be explosive when we reclaimed this 0.5 level, but I expected it to chop a little around these range highs before we went up, but we got on this next candle just straight blasting through the range highs. So in order for us to trade into these extension levels, which I do think we will be doing in quite a bit, we simply want to see a daily close above this range. Because when we look at on a lower time frame, we see we clearly had a break with a proper retest. So if we just manage to hold above this, it's the exact same case as here on the S&P. So where we want to see it break above it, hold above it to expect higher levels. So I do think we see this going quite fast again, because Eve likes to leave people on the sidelines and just give crazy pumps without any proper retrace. where people along the tops and then get liquidated or stopped out right here, and then it just turbo sends back up. So when we look at it on a 1 hour time frame, we clearly see that it is still seeing a massive buying pressure, with the pullbacks being bought up quite quickly right here. One major wick, another major wick, and then here we tried to push below these levels, but we have been unable to do so. And we got this turbo candle again, which was caused, of course, by the CPI news today. So for ETH, it's quite clear. We want to see this getting flipped to the upside, or we want to see it trade back into here and then bounce. So that will be it for BTC and ETH. Now let's get into some alts. You guys should know by now I like banana, so this one looks quite good. The thing we wanted to see is it retracing back into the zone, confirming that range deviation. Thus far, I do want to see it getting pushed above this, and until then, it could simply still be just more chop before we continue up. So watch this level to be flipped if you did not get positioned on that low. So either we play this little part or we wait. Realistically, you should have been entered right here on the retest if you had not positioned yourself inside of this chop. So with banana having had, let's look at virtual. Still majorly bullish on this pair as well. When we look at it, this, yeah, it's so similar in terms of the deviation, where we broke below this key area and we just reclaimed it, retested it, went back up. We reclaimed it, we retested it, we went back up, and it still does not seem to want to stop anytime soon, to be honest. So I would be looking at this level to see some first major resistance yet again. And of course, when we look at it on a lower time frame, this has been such a clear uptrend. It's kind of insane how clean it has been, where we just retest these highs each time, and you just retest those previous highs and lows, creating a beautiful uptrend. So now that we have had virtual, this would be my level to watch for a hype. The thing of concern I had right here has been majorly violated, but I liked it, to be honest, because we prepared for both scenarios, where I stated we want to see it break above, retest, and reclaim this part. Because if we don't reclaim this, and let's say we got something like this, where we find acceptance back below this level, you pretty much have a range deviation, with this being it, and this would have been bearish. But as you can see, we managed to break back above, and we just continued. We even had another retest, proving that this was just a break retest and no deviation. So I expect more upside for hyper liquid. When we look at it on a daily, I'm not sure where my next major fib level is, right here, 55.5. And if we look at past data, of course this was a major wick, so there is not really past data, so I use a fib to find it right here. It's what I explained in one of the earlier videos I made. So we pretty much see a proper break with a retest and it getting sent back up. So one I positioned myself into right around here is TIA. I did not want to catch these range lows where we just could have rejected and just trade back into those lows. I wanted to play the momentum where we gain some more momentum towards the upside. As you can see, this was my drawing, which is the path I wanted to see. where we break above, retest it. So here I entered, and we now are trying to reclaim these two blue lines. Where did the blue lines come from, you may ask? Right here, these lows. So this confirming a major daily sweep and reclaim if it manages to break above. Thus far, it seems to be holding this level, but we do want to see it break above this to get some more conviction into it. But like I stated, I'm already positioned right here, but I do think this has more upside. So I will simply be playing this reaction, what price will do here. I may take some partial profits if it comes right here, or I won't take any profits, or I will fully exit and reposition later. So for me, this will be the way how I will be playing TIA. When we look at Ondo, this still looks quite strong, where we also had some small deviation and just a turbo send up, with of course the CPI helping us. And here Pendle, this looks a lot better than Ondo when we just simply compare the two. In terms of relative strength, see, this has been kind of choppy, and now we are only seeing some upwards momentum for like 5 days, and Pendle has been in a clear uptrend still, so this looks really good. The chart I mostly monitor is the ETH BTC, and when we look at this, yeah, it's just holding that 0.75 level this far. Of course, here is a quite similar chart as the BTC chart that we've had, with that 4-hour key resistance, and we quite simply see this right here, being that do think we should take this low with it. Yes, right here. So we want to see this getting flipped, and then we can really look at some proper breakouts on this ETH BTC. But for now, when we simply look at it on a daily level, it looks really good, and I don't have any concerns for ETH. So to sum it up, BTC, we want to see it hold above this 0.5 level, and otherwise we are looking at any of these 3 levels where we watch the flows on the lower time frames to catch those trades. For ETH, want to see this hold, or we want to see this break, so we can look at those extension levels, which those are being right here. Later today I will be uploading another video. I made a post on Twitter about this video, but it needs to hit 10 likes before I upload this video. So with that having said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a nice day and keep trading.